Welcome back to Up the Villa. This is our match preview for Aston Villa v Everton. I'm just absolutely buzzing that international break is done and dusted. Villa are back. A week today, we are in Champions League football, which is also really, really exciting. Can't wait for it. Feels like the early part of the season, the first three games, the little bit of a warm-up for it is done, and now we go into the actual heavy-hitting stuff now. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. Justin, how are you?
Good, mate. Yes, looking forward to football. It's all that matters. Looking forward to the football.
Ryan looks like he's been in the club shop. How was that experience? All right?
Yeah, it was all right. This one is actually a signed Emi Martinez one. I went to the shirt signing where he unveiled his new deal, so that was quite exciting. And when you're there, you just had to get it. Yeah, you had to get it signed. So he signed that. So yeah, buzzing with that.
Lovely stuff. Right, so I touched on it just that we're back at Villa Park in search of our first win of the season, which is something that we need to get pretty quickly, get it on the board, get that sort of little, win that's needed, and we can just go into it and hopefully follow that run that we happened last season as well. But we go into this now with, a big part of our season now. We've got Everton, Young Boys away, Wolves at home, Ipswich away, Bayern Munich at home. Bayern Munich at home. Ryan, how are you feeling?
Mate, you missed out Wickham in the cup. Sandwich between all that as well.
Yeah.
So.
To be fair, you know what's going to happen here, don't you? We'll beat Everton, beat Young Boys, lose to Wickham, and then beat the Dingles.
That's it, mate. Yeah. But yeah, mega excited, and this is what it's all about now. This is the test, isn't it? We've got the first three games out of the way. We've done well, 6 points out of 9. But now this is the level that we wanted to be at. This is where we want to be competing and challenging. And it's a great test for us. It's a great test for the squad. I think we're going to see lots of rotations, lots of people getting minutes. I think Unai's used 5 subs every game, hasn't he, so far? So we've used like 15 subs in 3 games. So, the minutes are spreading around the squad really well. And everybody's going to need to be right up to speed because the games are going to come thick and fast. And it's top quality. And throughout the summer, every pundit is questioning whether we can handle it. And I think physically, we will. We've got a manager that just completely knows how to navigate his way around these fixtures, how to balance it. I do think there'll be a lot of emotional energy used up in these games. These are going to be highly charged games. Atmosphere is going to be electric. Away from home as well, you're going to come up against atmospheres like we did in the Europa Conference, and we need to learn and deal with that. But I'm all for it, and like with these fixtures, we can't afford to look ahead too much either. You mentioned we got Ipswich on the Sunday, then Bayern Munich on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, and full focus has got to be on that Ipswich game. It's like playing a game before a cup final, isn't it? Where you don't want to get injured, you don't want to get a knock or anything, and it's like focusing on one game at a time through these periods and one competition at a time. And this is what we signed up to. This is what we wanted, wasn't it? And it's fantastic to be in this position as a Villa fan right now.
Yeah, and I think there always seems to be outside noise with Villa that we can't do this, reasons why we can't do this squad. We can't do it because we've never been in the Champions League for about 40 years. There's all these little things, but whenever I look at the stats, like you look at the stats and again, like this time last year, we got the same amount of points. You look at Emery's record that I think everyone still sleeps on, the record that the away victories that we're getting under Unai Emery. Like, yeah, we've back-to-backed it so far this season, but if you actually look at how many away games we're actually winning, then you start looking at points tally of his time at Aston Villa. We're still literally like right up there, and it feels a bit weird that we keep still having those like little questions, but we're actually living and we're actually doing some like fantastic things. So Justin,
it's because they don't want us there, mate. They don't want us there. So we keep upsetting the apple cart, mate.
Well, yes, that is obviously it. But Justin, how are you looking at like this next phase of our season?
It's going to be very interesting, very telling. I mean, what is it? 19 days, 6 games, 3 competitions. You know, that's the season in a nutshell there. You know, how you start in the season, I always think after about 10 games, you can roughly see where you're going to be in the league. But it's critically important as well now that we settle into the season well. Hate the early international break. I think it just breaks the season. If you just play 2 or 3 games and you're gone for 2 weeks. Half your squad disappears. More than that probably now because of how many internationals we have. So it's the manager's buying his now until they're all back in the training pitch again and fit and raring to go. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And I think, as daft as it sounds, that Wycombe game is just as important for me because I see it as a competition we can win this season. And realistically, that's what I want to do. I want to win something this season. So we can't be sleeping on the League Cup game. I know there's much bigger games in this run of fixtures that we're all focusing on. Obviously, the 2 Champions League games are monumental, life-affirming events for us as fans to even be involved in. So I get it. It's emotional. I can't wait to get to Villa Park and hear that tune. And even the young boys game next week, watching a Villa on a Tuesday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday instead of Thursday nights is just something amazing, isn't it? Being in and amongst those players. But we've also got a few really, really important Premier League fixtures in the middle of all this as well, where we've got to pick points from. We've all seen the fixtures coming up. Tricky little start, 2 away, 1 really hard game at home. I think we've navigated that very, very well. I'm quite pleased with 6 points from the first 3. I think that's a good return for those games. Now we run into these fixtures, Everton, Ipswich, Wolves, games that I really think we can win all of them. And I think, as Ryan alluded to, that 5 sub rule, try and say that when you're drunk, is so important nowadays. And I think that nowadays has come at a perfect time especially for clubs that are in European competition, because that helps you navigate and balance your squad and give the minutes to players. Don't use your players early in the season and we've got that good squad now. We've got, quality in all the positions. So I'm just as interested to see how Emery rotates this squad in all these games now, because we have got some really good options in the league. We've seen off the bench that have impacted games now, and they're going to get minutes in these cup competitions. I feel that 100%. So yeah, really exciting few weeks. Glad it's back, and I can't wait for it to get going.
We feel like we are. Whenever Liverpool play at 12:30, that to me that's their kickoff time. This season, it feels like we are the team that is like the 5:30 team.
Yeah.
We've played. This is our 3rd game now in 4 games that we've played at 5:30, which is gonna be like it's weird, really. Like I don't know. I just feel like you have to wait all day for the game, etc. So yeah, they're all right. They're all right kickoff time. You're going to play Everton, who are a team that I think Villa fans we are fond of because we see the similarities. You always get that line, don't you? This is the most played fixture in English football or whatever. So we know that one now. Everton, they're a team that have been flirting with relegation now for a number of seasons. And I've got to say, it feels like Groundhog Day every time I watch Everton. It is such a struggle to watch. Even going back to, 2 weeks ago when they were beating Bournemouth 2-0. And you're listening to the fan reactions, and that's the best we've played in years, and they still lost 3-2. Like it feels like they can't catch a break. Dyche just feels like, again, that feels a bit of a struggle to me. I found it quite strange last season when he ditched the suit and went to the tracksuit and just trying to get that psychological feel. And I just feel a bit like, God, if that's what you're actually doing, like to try and get a bit of something going here, like you're in a bit of trouble. But, I do really like Everton. And I think you look at that new stadium, and I know you've been, Justin, and you've been outside it, and it looks really good, and it feels like the club have sort of got this thing in the distance where, you know, you're going through a dark tunnel and you can just see that bit of light, and you just want to get to that bit of light. But it feels like, I just feel like this season it's going to be exactly the same for him. And I look at the league now, and I feel with them like, who's worse than Everton? And I'd probably say Southampton. But after that, I think they're going to be down there still. I just look at their team, the way they coach, the way they're set up, where are the goals, and I just think they're going to struggle. Ryan, how do you feel about Everton?
Yeah, if I was to put myself in an Everton fan's shoes, probably the start of the season, what's your expectations? Probably mid-table, top of the bottom half, maybe. I think they would have come 12th, wouldn't they, last season, had they not had the points deduction. And there's a lot going on behind the scenes, isn't there? A lot of off-field disruption, which isn't good. They never get off to a good start, do they? We always seem to catch them at the right time, and for Dyche and for Everton, I'm just not sure. I'm like you. You know, you look at that Bournemouth game, and that just reeks. It reeks of when we played Leicester the season we got relegated.
Yeah. Do you know what? When I was coming on to do this, I actually thought that's Leicester. That is.
Yeah. To go 2-0 up, playing as well as they said they had, and then to lose 3-2. Oh, God. And that's coming off the back of a 4-0 hammering at Tottenham, losing 3-0 at home to Brighton. So you're probably thinking, I don't know, what you're looking at, about 4 points out of them opening 3. So to walk away with 0, to walk away with conceding 10 goals, it's an awful start. And they didn't have a bad window, to be honest. They kept the top players, you know. Calvert-Lewin, when he's fit, he can score goals. They kept the young centre-half, Bright White. So that there is a good spine for him to build off, but I don't know, the vibe's all wrong at the minute, isn't it? It's and like Dyche is trying everything, but I think it's something like, I think I heard on the radio, it was like 5 wins out of the last 25. So, and they finished the season really strong, didn't they, at home? So they picked up most of them wins there. So that period there, it's over half a season where you're only getting like 5 wins. So there is a lot of question marks over them, and them coming to Villa Park, they must be going, oh my God, not Villa Park, because like since we've come back in the Premier League, we've just had our number on them all the time, haven't we? Like when this pod started, it was like the Kazoo Derby, wasn't it? And we was getting results over them for a couple of seasons and taking on the Kazoo Cup and stuff like that. So we look forward to these opening fixtures against Everton. In the sun's, you know, the last of the sunshine, and we normally get a good result, and I'm expecting us to get another performance and a good result against them again. So I can see them. You know, if they do lose to us, and I hope they do, it's another game, isn't it? It's 4 games without any points, and then you're looking at the next one and the next one, and like sooner or later, you're like, oh my God, we're 4 points adrift, we're 5 points adrift, and you're playing catch up with 4 or 5 games into the season. So they're in a bit of trouble at the minute.
How do you feel about Everton, Justin?
Yeah, it's a mess, isn't it? I think it's been a mess for a few seasons. They feel like a club that's totally in stagnation. Ever since they announced this Bramley Moore-Docks move, it feels like they've just hung every hope now on that. And I know a lot of Everton fans don't want to move. That, you know, I don't think anybody wants to move from your home. I've no problem with rebuilding it on the site, but I think moving to a whole new site, and it is quite a distance away as well. You know, as you said, I've been up there, and it's a beautiful stadium. You know, I've seen a lot of the video footage, the drone footage, the pictures. It's lovely, and it's in a lovely place. You know, I think the access in and out's an issue to the Everton fans, but you know, it'll be a lovely place to watch football. But as a club, I don't think it's helped them at all. And I think this off-field problems with are they being sold, are they not being sold? You know, money issues, points deductions. Nobody really knows what they're doing. Dyche was brought in for a reason, and he's sort of done the job, but that feels like that's stagnating as well now, where I think that it's not going to be long if the results don't improve, where they're going to start questioning, is Dyche ball the way forward for us? You know, yes, he's got this track record of just battling away at the bottom of the league and getting results and finishing mid-table. But they want more than that. But I think at the moment they'd just be happy to stay up and get into that new stadium, probably draw a line under everything that's happened, try and get new ownership and try and reset, I suppose. They want a big reset, don't they? As far as what they're doing on the pitch, they just look a mess, don't they? You know, when you lose the way you do in the last game, and I watched that game on Match of the Day. I don't really watch Match of the Day much anymore, but I saw the result. I saw what happened in the game, and I watched it. And one thing I always like to look at, sounds really weird, is when you have a real freak end of game result like that, when you're cruising and you lose 3 goals in the last 3-4 minutes. I always look past the pitch onto the supporters' faces, and none of them looked surprised when it happened. They were all just going, like as if say, "Yep, that's us. That's where we're at." And when you've got that look of resignation on the faces of the fans, which seems to be week in, week out now, then you know that they're in big trouble. And what can save them? Perhaps Dyche needs to buy a new shit coat and hope that can get them out of the trouble. So I don't know. They're in trouble. I'm a big fan of Everton. I like them. They're a team of very similar, like you say, to us. The old school big clubs, which we are a part of. And I wish them better times, but not this Saturday.
Yeah, well, stay tuned for the predicted lineup. That's going to be out tomorrow. And I've done what I normally do, go in a bit in depth, and some of it, of what I found, it's quite eye-opening, to be fair. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you are subscribing, smash the likes. Let's try and get 1,000 likes. Villa are back. And then comment your thoughts on the episode. So we've got some stats that we can go through, and then we'll have a look at 2 players of interest for this game. So head-to-head record, we've got Premier League era. We have got 16 home wins. They've only got 4 away wins. The last couple of games, a 0-0 at Goodison, a 4-0 Villa win, and a 2-0 Villa win. And then so far this season, we are conceding 1.3. We are scoring 1.3. Everton are conceding 3.3, and they're scoring less than 1 per game as well. So we've got 2 players that are going to be on the pitch. Both are going to start, Timmy Rabunam and Onana. And Irabunam's doing well. He's playing well for him. He's adapted to life at Everton really well. He's playing some nice football. And Onana is absolutely tearing it up at Aston Villa. So it's going to be a big game for both. I think both are really going to want to show the other what they could have had, and I don't know how that's going to go. I think one of them's probably going to have a standout performance, and hopefully it's going to be our one, because he's absolutely tearing it up at the minute. He has really took to life at Villa so well, Onana. It feels like he's not only got a home here now, but it feels like there's a sense of realisation of what's happening at Aston Villa and how special it is to play for us at the minute. You hear a lot of his interviews, you see celebration, and I just get the vibe that he feels like this is his time now. It feels like he's come to a club and he's about to be like the main man, and I think he's going to grow into the Aston Villa shirt. I think he started really well, but I think he's going to get better. I think he's going to flourish more, and I think as the season goes on and we play in these big games, I think he's one of the Villa players that really will relish those big games. I think you can tell that he really wants to play in those games as well. So I think it's going to be exciting, and I think he's going to have a real standout performance, because a lot of his interviews as well, he's hearing stuff like he loves hearing the Villa fans chant his name and stuff. So I know, Justin, you did like Irabunam as well. So have you seen much of Tim at Everton, and how do you think that little midfield battle's going to go? Because Everton are playing with a 2 at the minute. We're playing with a 2. So they're going to be literally in the same area of the pitch. So who do you think comes out on top?
There's only one winner, isn't it? I think you could play Onana in there against Idrissa Gueye and
all of them
Boom on his own, and he'd still probably come out on top of both of them, to be fair. That's just the impact he's had, isn't it? He's been absolutely sensational for Villa. Everything we hoped he would be. big, dominant, loud, aggressive, great in the air, good on the deck. Slotted in really well with his teammates. I think it's been a massive, massive battle. As much as I'm gutted Kamara's injured, but having Yuri Tielemans sat next to him has helped him enormously. Having that sort of international colleague, and I think Tielemans has had a phenomenal start as well. I think the two of them have been brilliant. Who'd have thought at the start of last season when we had Louise and Kamara sitting in there that we'd start the season and we wouldn't miss either of them, and that's what's happened. We've really hit the jackpot. I think with this lad. I think 22 years of age. Yes, when you start the season like he has, you can't help but walk around with a smile on his face. He's 10 foot tall at the moment, let alone 7 foot, isn't it? So yeah, it's been lovely to see him flourish at Villa, and I think he backs himself. Obviously, he's a confident lad, and I think this is the move. And he's already said it, isn't it? It's the move that he wanted, and I think that's going to push him onto the next stage. Taking absolutely nothing away from Timur Abunam. We all liked Timur Abunam. We watched him come through the ranks. We watched him, get into the first team at Villa, and we all thought, yeah, you know what? There's maybe a place with him in the squad where he could come off the bench and help us out in games, play cup games. And if he had been retained, I think that would have been fine. I think he probably would have got minutes. Not many, but he would have got minutes. But as far as he was concerned, I think it's the best move he could have made for his career, because he's getting starts in the Premier League, and you can't replicate that. You can't go out on loan to a Championship or a League One club and play regularly. It's nothing like playing in the Premier League. And his age, I think it's probably a good move to a good club, and I hope he does well. I really do.
Yeah, seems to be doing well. What I would hope with him is that I hope that Everton do okay for him as well, because what I don't really want to happen for him is if they start to struggle and then it means that sort of like he sort of really struggles as well. So yeah, obviously, like I wish him well, because I think he's a really good player, and I think he's a real big talent. So Ryan, we're going to touch on something else with you. We're going to talk a bit about set pieces. I know you like your little tactics, so you can have a bit of tactic talk with me, but something that I've spotted so far and something that I've really wanted us to just hone in on is this set piece attacking and defending. So I've got some stats here, and these are based on the first 3 games. So we've played 3 games. We've conceded no goals from set pieces. We've only had 4 shots on our goal off set pieces. And if you compare that to some of the other sides, so Newcastle have faced 16, Arsenal have faced 6, Everton have faced 12, which is quite high for them, really, based on a team that is all about set pieces, attacking and defending. They've got a lot of big players in there as well. And then if we go to Villa attacking set pieces, you can see here 3 games, 2 goals. We've had 6 shots. We've got a goal percentage rate of 50%. So attacking, defending set pieces, how do you feel like we've been doing so far? Do you feel like you can see a bit of a shift in us? Because even with Onana setting those little traps at times as well, are you spotting what I'm spotting, that we've sort of like utilising this area a bit more?
Oh, 100%. I think the addition of Onana is like a brand new shiny toy for McPhee. Seems to invigorate him, and he's got even more creative, hasn't he? And the variations of attacking set pieces is brilliant this season. Like the goal we scored against Leicester, where it got played through to Ramsey and Watkins, ran off Tielemans, who took the free kick, and it got put back across for Onana. And like the carnage that Onana causes in there, like just disrupts everything else. And without that carnage, without that disruption and that attention on Onana, Watkins and Ramsey probably get picked up, and that free kick is nullified straight away. But it's such a big distraction. And like throw-ins as well. Like throw-ins, I think people sleep on throw-ins quite a lot, because you get 15 to 20 throw-ins a game. And I see Villa being creative with throw-ins now. Like West Ham, we've got an Onana in there, and Cash was pumping balls in there. long throws. But then I noticed a couple of times he'd like subtly bounce the ball, and then McGinn would shoot off, and it's a short throw, and we've completely caught him out because again, Onana is taking attention, and McGinn nearly gets in. So the set plays this season so far has been brilliant. Like obviously, Onana gets his first goal of the season for West Ham. The movement we're doing, the blocking off we're doing, like Pau Torres for that goal at Leicester, the blocking that he done to stop Winks blocking out Ramsey was superb, and we've seen that, didn't we, against West Ham? Everyone doing their jobs. You know, it's so well creative and put together, but you need to put them minutes in the training ground. But yeah, everyone needs to know what they're doing, and they all need to execute their job, or it all fails. And last season, it was a bit of a soft point for us, wasn't it? Defending set pieces, especially near the end of the season, and crosses into the box as well. You know, just that inbox defending was getting capitalised on, and I think just the presence of Onana. You know, if you're bombing down the wing and you see him in the box, are you thinking about cutting it back or trying to retain possession or put it in the box? You're probably thinking, I ain't put it in there because he's just going to gobble that up and it's gone. So he, for set pieces and defending set pieces, attacking set pieces, it's everything we wanted when we signed him. And I feel like, just a quick word on Onana, I feel like we mugged Everton off because 50 million, like I'm thinking, mate, his ceiling now could be £100 million player, really.
Yeah.
You know, he's just hit the ground running. And I think you've got to give massive credit to the environment that we've put him in. Like, without this family feel environment, it could take players time to adjust, but I do feel like the squad has got that family feel. We've mentioned, we've heard Emery talk about familyness and being a small family and a unit. And I feel the reason he's hit the ground running is because of that. And you've seen the relationships he's building with players. You've seen him and Duran, their partnership. You know, Duran's whole attitude has completely changed. And I'm putting some of that down to Onana and his personality. He's a big guy. And he's confident, and he's got that arrogance of confidence on the pitch. Off the pitch, he's got that humbleness of confidence. It's like he's unreal. I watched the podcast that the Villa done with him and his interview, and he just comes across as such a great guy. And he's only 23, man. He's only 23. So we are going to get the absolute best out of him. And I think this is the ideal environment for him. And he's probably just grateful that we're all getting his first name right with his song. So there's definitely no confusion with that. And even that, and it, lads, the celebrations, he's giving it the arm and everything. And he's just like completely connected with the Villa fan base.
Did you see the T-shirt he turned up to international duty with?
Yeah. Quality. And that's his personality, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's like, it feels like there was a hole in our team for him, though. And he's just like gone into that role. And it's just like, it kind of feels like he's been here for ages, but we've only watched him like for 3 games. So fantastic. Somebody who isn't probably going to be playing for Villa at the weekend is Bailey. So where are we with that? Obviously, we don't know where Jayden was the last game. Was he had a minor injury, didn't he? So do we feel like if Jayden is available, Jayden would go and play? Or do we think it would be McGinn on the right, Ramsey on the left, with, say, Rodgers and Watkins or whoever up top? Justin, where are you with that sort of right-hand side?
I am in the no Bailey, no problem camp because we've got players that can cover it. We have not, you know, and this is where we have to be at now. You know, we're not an 11 now, we're a squad. We have been for 18 months prior to this season. So we cannot now be too concerned. Yes, there's still 1 or 2 players you wouldn't want to be without, but even that now doesn't look as bad. You know, you would say Watkins and Martinez were the 2 you wouldn't ever want to be without, but even that now with the emergence of Duran, you know, you wouldn't be overly worried if Watkins, you know, this little whatever he had going on to international duty. So if we started with Duran on Saturday, you'd be okay, it's fair enough, he deserves to start. And I think I'm the same with most of the outfield players. You know, Ramsey missed most of last season, so he was basically just not there. I think he played equivalent to about 15 games. That was it. So yes, for me, I think it's definitely Ramsey. I think McGinn's really good in that role on the sort of right-hand side. He plays it very well. He's played it lots and lots of times. And I think with the emergence of Morgan Rogers, who, is just going from strength to strength, Ramsey comes in and another player of immense talent and immense ability, high ceiling. He gets to come in, and if you're Everton, you're thinking, God, they've got no Bailey, but they've got, Jacob Ramsey playing instead. It's a plethora of riches, and we're very blessed to be in the position we're in now. So yeah, it doesn't weaken the team for me at all.
I've just had a quick look at the England under 21s, and Jayden isn't on the bench.
Okay.
So still carrying, but Morgan Rogers has scored 2 goals so far.
Yep.
And one of them was an absolute blaster of a penalty. So great stuff there. So more positive news. Buendia brace, which was pleasing to see. Technique on that one was unbelievable. So it looks like he's stepped up some minutes as well, which hopefully will mean that he can start featuring off the bench. And Villa put the video out of Mings with a ball at his feet, pushing one of the coaches out the way. Hopefully, maybe Wickham, he could come off the bench and build that load up there. So that's really pleasing to see both of those players now really starting to step up that sort of load. Won't be long now before Kamara starts to be training with the group again. I know that he's doing some stuff on his own as well. So that's going to be pleasing. So it feels like the cavalry's on the way.
Yeah, it feels like a conveyor belt of people coming back, doesn't it? You got Buendia at the front, who's practically there now, and just behind him you've got, so Ramsey, who's practically fully fit and can play every week. Then you've got Buendia just behind him, not far off playing. And then you've got Mings back on the training pitch, ready to go. And then behind him, Kamara's ready to come back in. Within a few weeks, gosh, this squad is going to be absolutely bulging with talent, isn't it?
Yeah, you've missed Olsen off your conveyor belt as well.
He's at the back.
Has he not gone on it?
He keeps falling off the back. No, I like Olsen.
Yeah, he's a good pro. Good pro. Right, so score predictions then. I'll kick it off. I'm going for a Villa home win. And I'm going for a 3-1 Villa win. And I think it's going to be pretty comfortable by Premier League standards. Ryan?
Oh, right. I'm going for a hat-trick here, I am. If he's fit. Ollie Watkins. I think he's going to arrive.
Nice. Yeah. That would be nice.
Because his games now are tightening up. You think at the back end of last season, I think he's about 8 or 9 games now. And when he gets one, he likes to get a lot, doesn't he? So I'm thinking Villa Park, hat-trick, and we win 3-0. He takes the ball home.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be fired up, scoring goals, ready for Bayern Munich as well. So Justin,
I think we could marmalise them, if I'm honest. I think we could. I think they're going to come and Dyche, what's he going to do? I mean, he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. To come off the back of 3 defeats, 3 disappointing defeats. The Everton fans aren't going to want to come and just sit back and take it. So they're going to try and have a go, but I think we could batter them. I do. If we get an early one, I think they could crumble with what's happened this season. So I'm going for a morale boosting, back from international duty, 4-0 Villa win.
Yeah. And I think we should end with sharing our thoughts with Gary Shaw as well, who is in hospital, not in a good way at all. So I think we should all be sort of thinking of him and praying for him that hopefully he can, fight through it and hopefully he can come out of it and be on the mend, etc. I don't know does anyone else want to mention anything?
No, just wish him all the very best and keep fighting, Gary. There's a whole fan base here rooting for you.
Yeah, he's very well loved, isn't he? You only have to look on social media, and everybody's got a picture with him. You know, he's always out and about with the Villa lot. So yeah, get well soon, mate.
Yeah, cool. Right, guys. Thank you, everyone who's watched this episode. If you can subscribe, smash the likes, comment your thoughts as well. So up the Villa, and that sort of week's content starts now. So we'll have all of the usual episodes out across the course of the week. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.